Good morning, dear students. Again we change the mode of teaching and now it will be in the form of recorded video. And you people are also facing many problems with the new way of teaching. Okay, let's begin the same topic that we studied today in the morning. Again I am revising that same. Here you studied about the cell in the first chapter, fundamental unit of life. By taking a short revision with the lecture, we will begin the new chapter. Dear students, as we know that there are different types of organisms are living on our planet Earth. Some of them are very small and sometimes they will have only one cell in their body. Such type of organisms are called unicellular organisms. And in unicellular organism, the single cell in the body is able to perform all the functions of life. All the functions means what functions are necessary for the survival of life, continuation of life, all those functions. Like respiration, nutrition, transportation, there are many. On the other hand, other type of living beings are also living on our planet Earth, which have many cells in their body. And such type of organisms considered as the multicellular organisms. And in multicellular organisms, different cells, different types of cells are found, and those different types of cells perform different functions in the body of living organisms. So, and each, whether the organism is unicellular or multicellular, plant or animal, whatever, each and every organism begins its life with a single cell. And that single cell, you can take the example of zygote. Zygote is a single cell body, as you studied in your previous class. Spore, it is also a single cell body. So each and every organism, whether it is multicellular organism or unicellular organism, it begins its life from a single cell. Then what happens in that cell that the organism become multicellular? It is the division in the cells, repeated division, again and again. The cell multiply to increase the numbers, and those number of cells undergo the differentiation. Differentiation is a process. Which type of process? Differentiation is a process of qualitative change in cells depending on the functions they have to perform in future. That is the differentiation. Means differentiation brings some kind of special change inside the cell. That cell is able to perform a particular function. You can take the example like the cells which are having chlorophyll in the plant. They do the specific function of synthesis of the food. Okay, special cells are there in the tip of the roots or near the roots, and they perform the specific function, that is the absorption of minerals and water from the soil. So all that cell means the cell present in the root and the cell present in the leaf, all started from a single cell, as I said earlier. But what happened? That is the qualitative change occur inside them. Because of that, some kind of cell are become fixed for a specific function, like the absorption of water or synthesis of food or transportation of food in the body of plant. Similarly in animals also. Different types of cells are there, like muscle cells, bone cells. These together responsible for the movement in the body of organisms. While there are other kind of cells like the cells over the skin, that is the different types of cells. Inside the sense organs there are different types of cells, that's why they are able to sense the things, changes in the environment. There are different types of cells, but all cells begin from a single cell body. All organisms start its journey from single cell body. That means that cell divide to increase the number, and their a qualitative change occurred in the cells, and that qualitative change in the cell is called differentiation, that enable it to perform different function. Okay, so that is. Now in single cell organism, only one cell is able to perform all functions of life, but in multicellular organism, many cells are clustered together, grouped together to perform a specific function, because the body of multicellular organism is big and functions are complex. So single cell is not enough to perform all the functions of life. Okay, so these group or cluster of cells are called tissue. That is the name of this chapter. Tissue. Group or cluster of cells. But more clearly, in other words, we can say that group of similar or dissimilar type of cells that perform a specific function in the body of living organisms. Okay, living organisms, because dead organisms will have tissue but they will not perform the function. Okay, so group of similar or dissimilar type of cells that perform a specific function in the body of living organisms are called tissue. Note it down. Group of similar or dissimilar type of cells that perform specific function in the body of living organism. Okay, you can take the example of chymatous tissue. Okay, xylem, है ना, xylem phloem. इसी तरह से इन एनिमल्स मस्कुलर, स्केलेटल, मस्कुलर, एरियोलर, so group of similar or dissimilar type of cells that perform a specific function in the body of living organisms, they are called the tissue. Now what are the types? Okay, let's know about the types. But I think before we go to study the types of the tissue, we have to know the differences between plant tissue and animal tissue. Difference between plant tissue and animal tissue. Okay. First, in plants are generally stationary, means they remain fixed at a proper place. They do not move from one place to another. So in that condition, if plant stand and straight, then it means it needs some mechanical support to maintain its rigidity, maintain its position. So most of the cells in plants are supportive in function. Most of the cells in plants are supportive in functions. Second thing, while because plant is stationary, so its energy requirement is very low, because when any living organisms move from one place to another, for any type of performance we need energy. Plant do not move, so they do not require much amount of energy. That's why most of the cells in plants are dead, and those dead cells give the mechanical support to the plants. But it is opposite. It is just different in case of animals. In the body of animals, all cells are living and they perform particular function depending on the part of the tissue or depending on the work assigned to them. Like the muscle tissue, its work is to bring the movement in the body of organisms. Okay. Second thing, animals move from one place to another, so their energy requirement is more in comparison of plant. So most of the cells in the animals are living. Okay. Plant need not to move from one place to another, and because they are producer, because they directly trap the solar energy and synthesize their own food, so they synthesize only those type of items which are necessary for them. In case of animals depend on others for their food, so to fulfill their requirements they need to consume some unwanted materials along with the wanted materials. Okay, because they are mixed together. Just like if we want protein, then we not able to synthesize protein and we not able to take the direct protein. We need to take some diet which have rich in protein. Okay, so rich in protein we can digest, we can consume, and rest of the unwanted material is produced at the waste. Okay, while in case of plant such type of activities is not there. Okay, now let's study about the types of tissue. Okay, how classified? So first of all, we can classify them into two broad categories, that is the plant tissue, and second category we can take animal tissue. Okay, animal tissue. Now in plant tissue we can write here the meristematic tissue, and second category we can take, that is the permanent tissue. Okay, this meristematic tissue can further apical meristem, intercalary, and third you can take the lateral meristem. Here in permanent tissue we can classify the simple, permanent, tissue or complex permanent tissue. Okay, this simple permanent tissue can be parenchyma, second collenchyma, and third is sclerenchyma. Okay, this complex permanent tissue can also divided into xylem and phloem. Okay, in which xylem and phloem, and those xylem and phloem each made up of 4 types of cells. Okay, let's revise it. Plant tissue and animal tissue, it is 2 broader categories of tissue, types of tissue. Plant tissue mainly categorized in 2 categories, that is the meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. This meristematic tissue can be divided into 3 categories: apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. This permanent tissue is also divided into 2 broader categories. One is the simple permanent tissue and second is the complex permanent tissue. Okay, this simple permanent tissue is also divided into 3 categories: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. 3 categories of simple permanent tissue. Complex permanent tissue are also having 2 types: xylem and phloem. Each means xylem and phloem each are made up of 4 different kind of cells. Okay, as I said in the beginning, the definition of tissue: group of similar or dissimilar type of cells. Xylem has the dissimilar type of cells, phloem has the dissimilar type of cells. That's why they are also come under the definition of tissue. Okay, now let's rest the topic. You should revise this topic at your home, see the video again and again, and if you have any problem, feel free to ask. But don't forget one thing: to like, subscribe and share the video. And if you want, you can also make a comment if any suggestion or any appreciation. Okay, thank you.